The paint swatches fanned across the kitchen table like a deck of cards. Soft yellows, pale greens, gentle grays. My sister Jennifer held them up to the afternoon light streaming through the window, her other hand resting on her barely visible baby bump. "We're making your daughter's room the new nursery," she announced, not looking at me. "Derek and I have been talking and it just makes the most sense. The room gets perfect morning light and it's right next to ours." I set down my coffee cup slowly. My daughter Sophia was upstairs in that room right now, probably doing homework at the desk we'd moved in 3 months ago when we relocated here. The desk she'd specifically chosen because it fit perfectly under the window. "And where should she go?" I asked, keeping my voice level. Mom looked up from her tablet, barely interested. "The basement's free. There's that finished room down there. She's 16. She'll probably love having her own space away from everyone." The basement room. The one with the tiny window near the ceiling, the persistent smell of laundry detergent, and the furnace that kicked on every 40 minutes with a sound like a small airplane taking off. Jennifer was already making notes on her phone. "We'll need to start soon. The baby's due in 6 months and Derek's mom says nursery prep takes forever. We're thinking a gender-neutral theme. Something with animals, maybe." "Sophia pays $2,200 a month to stay here," I said quietly. Mom waved her hand dismissively. "That's just household fees. Everyone contributes. This is still our family home." Our family home. The phrase settled in my chest like a stone. I'd been paying those household fees since we'd moved in after my divorce. $2,200 every month, transferred like clockwork on the first. For a single bedroom, shared bathroom access, and the privilege of walking on eggshells around my sister's mood swings and my mother's passive-aggressive commentary. "We'll help her move her stuff," Jennifer offered as if that made it generous. "Maybe this weekend? That gives us time to get measurements for the new furniture." I looked at my daughter's closed bedroom door upstairs. Behind it were 3 months of careful arrangement. Her art prints on the walls, fairy lights she'd strung around the window, the small bookshelf we'd assembled together. She'd been so excited about that room. It was the first thing that had made her smile after the divorce. "When were you planning to ask Sophia about this?" I said. Jennifer finally looked at me, eyebrows raised. "She's a teenager. Teenagers love basements. It's like having an apartment. With a furnace and no real windows." "There's a window," Mom interjected. "Don't be dramatic. You're making this difficult when we're trying to accommodate everyone." Accommodate everyone. I wanted to laugh. Instead, I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. 3 months of transfers. September 1st, October 1st, November 1st. $2,200 each time, labeled household contribution. "I need to think about this," I said. Jennifer's face hardened. "Think about what?" "We're family. The baby needs a proper nursery. Sophia's room is the only one that makes sense, unless you think a newborn should go in the basement." The guilt trip. I'd been expecting it. My sister had perfected the art of making her needs everyone else's emergency. When she'd moved back home 2 years ago after her engagement ended, Mom had rearranged everything to accommodate her. When Derek joined 6 months later, they'd taken over the master suite. Now a baby meant another reorganization, and somehow we were the ones expected to shrink further. "Let me talk to Sophia," I said, standing up. "Don't make this into something it's not," Mom called after me. "We're just being practical." I climbed the stairs, each step feeling heavier than the last. How many times had I made this walk over the past 3 months? How many times had I passed Jennifer's closed door, hearing her and Derek's laughter inside, while Sophia and I shared the smaller bathroom down the hall with Mom? I knocked on Sophia's door. "Honey, can I come in?" "Yeah." She was at her desk, exactly where I'd pictured her, chemistry textbook open. The fairy lights cast a warm glow across her workspace. She'd put up some new photos since yesterday, printed pictures from the fall dance. "What's up?" she asked, spinning in her chair. I sat on the edge of her bed. "Your aunt wants to turn this room into a nursery." Sophia's face went blank. "What?" "She's pregnant. They want to put the baby in here." "Where am I supposed to go?" "They suggested the basement." She stared at me for a long moment. Then she started laughing, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Of course they did. The basement. Because I'm just the charity case who should be grateful for any corner they give us." "Sophia." "No, Mom. Don't." She turned back to her desk, fingers drumming against her textbook. I heard Aunt Jennifer last week telling Derek that we were temporary. That you'd find your own place soon and they'd have the whole house for their family. My stomach dropped. She said that. I wasn't supposed to hear. But yeah. Sophia's voice cracked slightly. I know we're not really wanted here. I just thought maybe this room could be mine for a little while. I looked around at everything she'd built here, the small sanctuary she'd created, and I made a decision. Pack your important things, I said. We're leaving. What? Not everything. Just what matters to you. Clothes, schoolwork, personal items. We're moving out. Sophia's eyes widened. Right now. Right now. But where will we go? I have some money saved. We'll get a hotel tonight, figure out an apartment tomorrow. I stood up, suddenly filled with clarity. We're not staying where we're treated like burdens. Mom, the lease. There is no lease. Just month-to-month household fees. I pulled out my phone again, opening my contacts. Start packing. I'm making some calls. For the next 2 hours we moved with quiet efficiency. Sophia filled her school backpack and a duffel bag with clothes. I packed our bathroom essentials, important documents and laptops. We weren't loud about it. We simply moved through the house like ghosts, carrying bags to my car. Jennifer found us loading the trunk. What are you doing? Moving out, I said, not stopping. You can't just leave. We had an agreement. Month-to-month household fees. I paid through November. It's November 28th. Consider this my notice for December. Mom appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. This is ridiculous. You're throwing a tantrum over a room. We're leaving, I said simply. Sophia, anything else? Got it all, she called from upstairs. Jennifer followed me to the car. You're really going to do this? Leave your family over a nursery? I closed the trunk and faced her. You wanted the room. You got it. Congratulations. Where will you even go? That's not your concern anymore. We drove away as the sun was setting. Sophia was quiet in the passenger seat, watching the house disappear in the side mirror. Mom, she said after a few minutes. Thank you. We checked into a decent extended stay hotel. 2 beds, a kitchenette, and a bathroom that was entirely ours. Sophia claimed the bed near the window and immediately plugged in her fairy lights. They looked different here but still beautiful. My phone buzzed around 9. Mom, you've made your point. Come back and we'll discuss this properly. I didn't respond. The next morning I started apartment hunting in earnest. Sophia went to school from the hotel, catching the bus from the corner. I spent the day viewing places, calculating budgets and filling out applications. My phone rang at 2 in the afternoon. Unknown number. Hello. Hi, is this Mrs. Peterson? A woman's voice, professional and slightly stressed. Yes. This is Amanda Chin from Lux Interiors. I'm calling about the nursery renovation at 847 Maple Street. We have a quote ready, but I wanted to confirm a few details about the scope of work before finalizing. I pulled over into a parking lot. I think you want to speak with Jennifer Warren. She's the one planning the nursery. Yes, I've been working with Jennifer. But the account information we have on file shows you as the primary resident and financial contact. The renovation estimate is $42,000, and we need to schedule the initial payment and confirm the timeline. $42,000 for paint and furniture and whatever else Jennifer had been planning. I'm sorry, I said slowly. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I don't live at that address anymore. I moved out yesterday. There was a pause. Oh. Does Jennifer Warren have alternate payment arrangements? Because our records show the household account in your name for the consultation fee and deposit hold. What deposit hold? The initial consultation deposit. $5,000. It was processed last week from the household account ending in 4782. My household account, the one I'd set up to autopay the monthly fees. I didn't authorize any deposit, I said. Another pause, longer this time. I see. Well, this is awkward. I should probably speak with Jennifer directly about payment arrangements, then. Yes, I said. You definitely should. I sat in that parking lot for 10 minutes after hanging up, processing what had just happened. Jennifer had somehow accessed the household account, the one I'd been using to pay our monthly fees, and put down a $5,000 deposit on a renovation. Without asking, without mentioning it, my phone buzzed. Mom, we need to talk about the account situation. Then Jennifer, there's been a misunderstanding with the designer. Can you call me? I didn't respond to either message. Instead, I called my bank. I need to close an account and stop all future payments, I told the representative. Certainly. Can you verify the account number? I read it off. The same account I'd been using for those monthly $2,200 transfers. And can you tell me the recent transaction history? I asked. The representative read it back. 3 months of my transfers. Then buried in between smaller transactions I didn't recognize. 200 here, 300 there. All marked as household expenses. And the big one, $5,000 to Lux Interiors. How much is currently in this account? I asked. $742. Almost 8 months of my contributions, drained to nearly nothing. I'd been putting in $2,200 a month, thinking it was covering our share of utilities, groceries, and general household costs. Instead, it had become a slush fund. Close it, I said. Transfer the remaining balance to my personal checking and close the account. Done. Is there anything else? Yes. I need documentation of all transactions for the past 6 months emailed to me. I hung up and finally responded to Mom. The household account is closed. Any outstanding expenses are not my responsibility. My phone immediately started ringing. I declined the call. It rang again. Declined. Then a text from Jennifer. You can't just abandon family obligations. That deposit was for your benefit too. For my benefit. A nursery that required my daughter to move to the basement was somehow for my benefit. I blocked the number and kept driving. Sophia got home from school at 4, finding me surrounded by apartment listings at the hotel's small desk. Any luck? She asked. 3 possibilities. We're viewing them tomorrow after school. She dropped her backpack and sat on her bed. Aunt Jennifer texted me. Said you were being unreasonable and that we need to come back. What did you say? I blocked her. Sophia smiled slightly. Is that bad? Not even a little bit. My phone buzzed again, this time a different number. I answered cautiously. Mrs. Peterson? This is Amanda Chin again from Lux Interiors. I've spoken with Jennifer Warren, and there seems to be significant confusion about the project financing. She indicated you were the primary financial contributor to the household and would be covering the renovation costs. Is that accurate? No, I said firmly. I moved out of that residence. I have no financial obligation to any renovations there. I see. And the $5,000 deposit that was processed from your account. Unauthorized. I've closed that account. A long sigh. Mrs. Peterson, I appreciate your honesty. Jennifer is now claiming she can't cover the costs and that you committed to the project. Can you confirm in writing that you had no knowledge of this project or its associated costs? Absolutely. Thank you. That's all I needed to know. We'll be pursuing the deposit recovery and canceling the project. After I hung up, Sophia looked at me with something like awe. What just happened? Your aunt tried to renovate a nursery on my dime without asking. The designer just figured out the money isn't coming. Good, Sophia said firmly. Then quieter. Is that mean that I'm glad? Not mean. Honest. We ordered pizza that night, eating it cross-legged on our hotel beds while watching a movie on Sophia's laptop. It was cramped and temporary and uncertain, but it was ours. No walking on eggshells. No passive-aggressive comments. No being made to feel small in spaces we paid to occupy. My phone buzzed one more time. Mom, the designer is demanding the deposit back. Jennifer is very upset. This affects the whole family. You need to fix this. I typed back slowly, carefully. I paid $6,600 over 3 months for a room you gave away without consultation. I paid into an account that was drained without my knowledge. I'm not fixing anything. Good luck with the nursery. Then I muted the conversation and put my phone away. Sophia looked over at me. What happens now? Now. I pulled out the apartment listings. We find somewhere that's actually ours. Somewhere nobody can take your room away. Will they keep calling? Probably. For a while. And then they'll figure out what $42,000 looks like when you're actually responsible for it yourself. Sophia smiled. Really smiled, for the first time in 3 months. Can I have fairy lights in the new place? You can have whatever lights you want, I promised. It'll be your room. Really yours. No one's taking it away. Outside, the city lights were coming on. Tomorrow would bring apartment viewings, paperwork, and the logistics of actually rebuilding. But tonight, in this small hotel room, we'd already done the most important thing. We'd left.